So I've always been really nervous about this, mostly because I'm afraid of the connectivity issues. And you always see people when they come up and they're about to do a demo and they're really excited and they're getting going, and then all of a sudden it doesn't work, and then they go like this. And then 3 other people gather around them. At the great risk of that happening, we're going to be working on KRL explicitly. Here, I'm going to be using the new app builder, which means that everything that I'm doing is online. So if you are online, I'm plugged into the wall, everything should be okay, but go easy on the network. The first thing I want to talk about, and maybe a little bit of brag about, is our marketplace. This is it. This is the app that we're going to build, is this Twitter Google mashup. You can actually go out to marketplace.kynetx. Don't do it right now. Go out to marketplace.kynetx.com and find this app and download it and run it. It's not really that great. I'll show you what it does here. So it went to the wrong screen here. So what I'm going to do is show you how to get this app. So I just clicked on bookmark. It's going to ask me to log in. And then I can go to bookmark, drag this bookmarklet, and now I have the app. So that's how you get a bookmarklet app through the marketplace. For most browsers, just dragging it up works. For Internet Explorer, there's all this other stuff you have to do. So what this app does is, it doesn't matter what I search for on Google, it will go out to, I'll go ahead and run it here. It'll go out to Twitter and do a search for the same thing that I searched in Google for and show the results there. And just to show that I'm not fudging this, give me a search term that's clean. Okay, bacon salt. So I'll go ahead and run and then we have the bacon salt search results. So that's the app that I'm going to build in front of you. I'm going to go a little bit fast. Feel free to ask questions along the way. And stop me at any time if something doesn't make sense. All right, so this is App Builder. So this is appbuilder-staging.kynetx.com, and as was mentioned earlier, this is not production ready yet, but there is a problem in that if you use this new app builder to edit any of your applications, then you will not be able to use the other version, which probably won't be up through the end of the week anyway. Okay, so a couple things I wanted to talk about is just some vocabulary that you need to understand. We use in Kynetx, we use the term rule sets and applications interchangeably. They mean the same thing. Rule sets is what they were called at the dawn, and basically that's because all of your applications are just a collection of rules. So if I say rule set or application, I'm talking about the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and quickly show you this app. Luckily, the internet's really snappy. It's working really well. So this is the application that we're going to write here from scratch. So I'm going to come back to applications, new app. We'll call it Twitter Mashup Demo. And I won't bother with the description. Go ahead and create it. While that is loading, what I want to do is talk a little bit about what happens when you run a Kynetx application. So what really happened when I clicked this bookmarklet? what occurred that allowed my application to run in the browser. And the answer is in how this works. And this is going to be a little bit technical. We're going to be looking at a lot of code here, so I'll try to hold your interest here. Basically, this is the bookmarklet broken down. So our first line just tells the bookmarklet to run JavaScript instead of going to another link. Then we call a JavaScript function that declares some variables. We're going to inject a script tag into the page. The contents of that tag is going to be this, which tells our Kynetx runtime which app to run. So you'll notice that that's A18X10 is the unique identifier for my application in the Kynetx system. And you'll see those IDs throughout App Builder and even in the marketplace. So then we add that to the page, and then we add the Kynetx runtime, which is this library right here. So that's all it does. And when this is added to the page, it looks for this KOBJ config variable that's being declared and runs those applications. And it's important to understand this so that you don't get too caught up in the magic of what's actually happening behind Kynetx. It's nice to be able to go into view the page source and actually see the JavaScript that the Kynetx platform is returning and be able to debug your apps that way. So that's what we call the execution model. All right, so I have a default application here, and I'm going to quickly talk about each of these, even though Phil talked about them in his demo earlier today. So the meta block is just that. It's information about your application that you want to either store for yourself or specific instructions you want to give K&S about how to run this application. So the first thing that you'll notice is we have a name for our application here, and we can add a description. If you're not familiar with here docs, that's just like putting everything in double quotes. It just makes it pretty. We can put multiple lines of string of code in there and not worry about escaping double quotes or single quotes or things like that. So I can add an author. Kind of hard to type on one screen while you're listening to this. And then we'll go ahead and turn on logging. Logging is a nice feature that basically spits out a whole bunch of stuff into the page that tells you about what your app is doing. If you deploy your app and distribute your app, you want to make sure you turn logging off, because if anyone views the source of that page, they're going to get a whole string of gibberish and stuff that probably only makes sense to you, and it's just more data that they have to load when they run your app. So you want to make sure you turn that off. Another thing here is this line, this auth require user. This line is what tells your app that it requires activation through the marketplace before it can be run. And what that looks like is the first time a user will run your app, they'll be given a prompt that says that they need to activate that app in order to use it. And they'll click on the activate button, it'll take them into the marketplace and give them an opportunity to purchase the app. Once they've purchased the app, then it's activated and they don't ever have to activate it again. And that, if you enable this and it's a free app, they still have to activate it. Now, that process of activation actually only needs to occur once for all of their apps. Once they've activated one app, any apps that they run, that they purchase through the marketplace after that will activate automatically. Doesn't matter who else. So that activation process only happens once. And there's a place in the marketplace where you can view all of the apps that you have activated. Right now, you can't deactivate, but you will be able to. Okay, the dispatch block here. Yeah, thanks.